Hari Om, Namaste. We will take the text Guruvayupuresha Pancharatnam and learn the shlokas, and we will try to understand the meaning also. This audio will be an introduction to this stotram, Guruvayupuresha Pancharatnam. We will learn a little bit about why Mahavishnu got the name Guruvayurappan, the story behind it. So, in the beginning of Padma Kalpa, Brahma was doing his Srishti Karyam and Mahavishnu appeared before him. Brahma asks Mahavishnu that he and all the other Jivatmas that he was doing Srishti Karyam of should be relieved from the bondage of karma and should get moksham. Now, what Mahavishnu did was he made a vigraham of himself and handed it over to Brahma. Now, Brahma did puja for that vigraham for a long time, and then in the Varaha Kalpa, he gave it to a rishi named Sutapa and his wife Prishni, because they were also worshipping Mahavishnu. Brahma decided to hand it over to Rishi Sutapa and his wife Prishni. This Rishi Sutapa and Prishni did not have Santana Bhagyam. They didn't have any children. So they were very devoted to this Vigraham given by Brahma. So they continued to do their puja for that Vigraham of Mahavishnu. Finally, one day Mahavishnu appears before them. And in their excitement, Rishi Sutapa and his wife Prishni expressed their wish for having a child. Just like Mahavishnu, 3 times they asked that they want to have a child like Mahavishnu himself, and they express it 3 times. Since they asked him 3 times, Mahavishnu blessed them and said that he would be born as their son in 3 successive janmas. And also that they will continue to worship that Vigraham of Mahavishnu in all the 3 janmas. So, in the first janma, which is in Satya Yuga, Mahavishnu takes the avataram as Prishni Garbha, and he is born to them, born to Rishi Sutapa and Prishni, and he is called Prishni Garbha. During his avatara as Prishni Garbha in that janma, he teaches the importance of brahmacharya to his bhakta Dhruva. In the second birth, Sutapa and Prishni are reborn as Kashyapa Rishi and Aditi. Now, Bhagavan, as promised, in the second birth, takes the Vamana Avatara. He is born as Kashyapa Rishi's and Aditi's son. Then finally, the third Janma, when Prishni and Sutapa are reborn as Vasudeva and Devaki, Mahavishnu takes the avataram of Krishna avataram. So to sum it up, Mahavishnu takes the avataram of Prishni Garbha and is born to Sutapa and Prishni. When the same Rishi Sutapa and Prishni are reborn as Kashyapa and Aditi, Bhagavan takes the Vamana avatara. In the third birth, when the same Sutapa and Prishni are reborn as Vasudeva and Devaki, Mahavishnu is born to them as Krishna. So in the first Yuga, Satya Yuga, Prishni Garbha avataram, Treta Yuga, Vamana avataram, then Dwapara Yuga, Krishna avataram. Now what is important in all these 3 janmas is that Rishi Sutapa and Prishni continued to do the puja for the Vigraham of Mahavishnu handed down to them by Brahma. So they did the puja when they were Sutapa and Prishni. They did the puja when they were Kashyapa and Aditi. They did the puja for that Vigraham when they were Vasudeva and Devaki. Now, in the Dwapara Yugam, Krishna takes the Vigraham from his parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, and he continues to do the puja for that Vigraham, despite being an avatara of Vishnu himself. He builds a temple for the Vigraham, and daily puja happens in that temple. When Dwapara Yuga was coming to an end, now it was time for Mahavishnu to return to Vaikuntham. So before he was leaving to Vaikuntham, he called his friend Uddhava and told him that Dwaraka would be completely affected by the pralaya, and none of the things there would survive the pralaya except for the Vigraham to which his parents have done puja for over 3 janmas. Now Uddhava was planning on leaving to Badrikashramam to perform a tapas for the rest of his life. Now Mahavishnu advises him to hand over the Vigraham to Brihaspati, the Guru of the Devas, who will come there at that moment during the Pralaya, and then asks Uddhava to leave to Badrikashramam. So as Mahavishnu had predicted, there was a huge Pralaya and Dwaraka was submerged and was completely destroyed. And Uddhava had already left for Badrikashramam to perform his tapas. But before leaving, he sent word a message to Brihaspati, the Guru of the Devas, and informed him about the Vigraham. By the time Brihaspati reached Dwaraka, everything had been wiped out. But soon he was able to spot or see the Vigraham of Mahavishnu floating on the waters of the Pralaya. But he could not reach for the Vigraham because of the nature of the Pralaya, and because it was on the water, it was on the other side. Now Brihaspati, the Guru, calls out for Vayu Bhagavan, who is his Shishya, because he is the Guru of all the Devas. Vayu is also one of his Shishyas. So Brihaspati, the Guru, calls out for Vayu. Now Vayu Bhagavan creates a huge wave so that the wave will carry the Vigraham towards where Brihaspati, the Guru, is standing. So Brihaspati, once the Vigraham floats towards him, he picks up the Vigraham in his hands. Now Guru and Vayu do not know where to do the Vigraha Pratishtha. At that time, Parashurama appears before them and tells them to take it to Bhargava Kshetra. This Bhargava Kshetra was created by Parashurama with his Parashu. Parashu means axe. This Bhargava Kshetra is the land between Kanyakumari in the south and Gokarna in the north. Today we call it Kerala. So Parashurama guides them to take it to Bhargava Kshetra. So Guru and Vayu take the Vigraham of Mahavishnu and start to travel through Akasha Marga to find this Bhargava Kshetra. When they were coming, they were able to spot it because Shiva and Parvati were waiting there to receive them. So once they reach there, Shiva says, we have to do the Vigraha Pratishtha on this Kshetra. So Brihaspati, the Guru of the Devas, called for Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma is the architect of the Devas. So he was called, Vishwakarma was called to construct a temple for that Vigraham. And Vishwakarma immediately finished constructing the temple, and so Brihaspati, Guru and Vayu did the Vigraha Pratishtha, and Shiva performed the first Kala Puja for that Vigraham. And Shiva says that since the Pratishtha, Vigraha Pratishtha was done by Guru and Vayu, this Kshetram will be called as Guruvayur, and the Vigraham of Mahavishnu will be called as Guruvayurappan. Appan means he is the God or leader or the Lord for Guru and Vayu. So Mahavishnu will be known as Guruvayurappan in this Kshetram because Guru and Vayu did the Vigraha Pratishtha of Mahavishnu in this Kshetram. And it is believed that Mahavishnu resides in this Kshetram in his full power, just as he is in Vaikuntham. And hence this Kshetram is also known as Bhuloka Vaikuntham. So this is the story behind the name Guruvayurappan. Before we see the shlokas in this stotram, Guruvayupuresha Pancharatnam, written by Sri Sengalipuram Anantarama Dikshitar, it is also important to mention Sri Narayana Bhattatri's Narayaneeyam, because Narayaneeyam is a big composition written by Sri Melpattur Narayana Bhattatri on Guruvayurappan. I will not go into very detailed description of Narayana Bhattatri's life, but his guru was suffering from a roga called Pavana Vyadhi or Anila Vyadhi, Anila Roga. It is called rheumatism in English, but I am mentioning it in Sanskritam itself as Pavana Vyadhi because Guruvayurappan is called upon as Pavana Puresha. So Narayana Bhattatri's guru was suffering from this roga. Unable to see his guru suffer like this, he decided to take the roga upon himself as a Guru Dakshina. He wanted to take the roga from his Guru as a Guru Dakshina and suffer it for his Guru. As a result, his Guru gets cured, but Narayana Bhattatri suffers. He is unable to find any medicine or a cure for this roga. So he goes to Guruvayur temple. There he meets a Nambudri or his friend who works there, who is a great bhakta of Guruvayurappan, and Narayana Bhattatri asks him to suggest a remedy for his roga. And his friend, or that Nambudri, who is a great Sanskrit scholar, gives a hint by saying in Malayalam, Meen Tottu Kottuka. I'm sorry, I'm sure that the pronunciation was wrong. Please, Kshamyatam. I think it is a dish name. So when Narayana Bhattatri asked him for a remedy, he said this. It literally means start with the fish. And Bhattatri knows he is not talking about a dish. So Bhattatri, understanding the hidden meaning, starts to compose the various avatarams of Mahavishnu, starting with Matsya Avataram. And then he composes a series of dashakams. Dashakam means group of 10 shlokas. Narayaneeyam book, if you take and see, each dashakam will be a group of 10 shlokas. So Narayana Bhattatri started to compose one dashakam each day in the presence of Guruvayurappan. So in 100 days, he finished his compositions. And at the end of each dashakam, the last shloka, Narayana Bhattatri will do a prarthana to Guruvayurappan to cure his roga. And at the end of the last dashakam is the Varnanam of Guruvayurappan, Keshadi Padanta Varnanam of Guruvayurappan. After he completes the dashakam, he gets cured from his roga and lives a long life. This Narayana Bhattatri, who is the composer for Narayaneeyam, is believed to be an avataram of Adisheshan himself. All these stories are a way to present or bring or pass on these types of granthas to the next yuga, where the mankind can benefit. In this age or in this Kali Yuga, where people do not have the time to go through an entire Bhagavatam because it is huge and time consuming, Narayaneeyam text is more concise and it is easier to finish chanting. Now we are taking even more concised stotram, only Pancharatnam, best among the stotrams. It is a Ratnam among the stotram on Guruvayurappan, only 5 shlokas. It is called Guruvayupuresha Pancharatnam, written by Sri Sengalipuram Anantarama Dikshitar. So we will take up the stotram, learn the Ucharanam correctly and try to understand the meaning. Ram 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 Ram.